Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Dr. Patience Jackson Rose, and we're here live with Co-working Live with Red Worldwide. And we are so excited that you're here with us today because it's another Smarter Start Boot Camp Day. Yes, we are so excited that all of you guys are here and that we are doing business better. And so for that, we have to get a smarter start. So today, we're going to deep dive into the area of mastering customer relations. And we really have curated this content specifically for entrepreneurs. Although, if you are an executive of any kind, you will probably find value in it. But we want to make sure that you are aware that the content itself is designed for the small to medium sized business who, a person who is an entrepreneur, a person who actually maybe even a franchisee, or someone who has taken over a business. We know that these are areas that we need to tighten up on customer relations. And a lot of times, what we are experiencing in business is directly connected to how well we're able to stay connected to our customers, our clients. And so, for this, we have to get some skills. And so, we're going to do that today. Jerron, will you roll the slides, please? We're so thankful for our production. We know that it's getting better and better because of our team, and we are just excited. And we just want to give a shout out to Lux Vision Studios, who's always here with us and making sure that we are putting our best foot forward. We actually have her in the studio today in Texas, and so I'm so excited because we are able to, have an opportunity to bring the content to our home base. But let's kind of look at what we're going to be talking about today. We do realize that cultivating strong customer relationships is essential. And it's important that if you have the opportunity to, you take the time to create a kind of experience, for your customers and your clients that is unparalleled. And so having these moments where you're able to stop and take a minute to master the art of customer relations, look at what you're currently doing, evaluate it, see if it's really working for you. Does it help or hinder the process of your company becoming more successful? And then once you figure that out, we've got to be able to build a loyal customer base and build around that loyal customer base the support systems that are needed to stay in. Stay in relationship with them, keep them in the mindset of knowing that you are interested in making sure that they have everything they need to do business with your company, to stay connected to your company. And so that means that you're going to prepare before, you're going to curate the experience and keep it going during, and then you're going to have some aftercare. And so we'll talk about some of those things in a minute. But these things are designed to help you drive growth and achieve sustainable business outcomes. The whole goal here is to make something stable and then to make it so that your company can sustain that particular experience for your clients and customers, so that they can say, wow, I know that every time I go in here or every time I do business with this company, it's always going to be something that is brought to me in a way that I enjoy. Next slide, please. So I know that we've been building on the things that we've learned before, and we started a few weeks ago talking about creating an empathy map, understanding the pain points, what drives your customers and clients, what causes them to really want to get what you have. And so based on that, you've got to start at the concept of understanding their needs. What is it that your client or your customer needs? You need to be able to first do some market research, conduct thorough market research to identify the target audience. And we've been talking a lot about this week over week because I want to drive it home to you so that you are able to not just hear me say it, but take it and use it. Find out who your avatar, who your customer is, and then understanding what their needs are, what are their requirements, in order for them to be able to get what you have, or get what anyone has. okay, in the area of where their need is. And so for us, I always use us as examples because we have about 3 companies now that are that are operating. And so when looking at it from our perspective, we have a company that's completely in the service industry. We provide professional services. And so as it relates to that, we have to go and do these types of researches often, this research and get the data often. And the reason for that is because there are a lot of things that changes in that particular industry. And so for the I don't know, for the masses, when they're looking for professional services, especially in the accounting and tax area, there are some specific things that they want to find when they come to your establishment. Whether they're coming to you online or whether they're coming to you in person, there are some specific things that they're looking for. And for that reason, we have to make sure that we're able to offer those. I know for a lot of people, the one thing that they're looking for when it comes to finances, education, because they know that the laws change frequently. They know that they may not know everything, and they know that they need to trust the person that they're doing business with to know, to have the answers and to show them where they can verify or fact check not just those answers, but other things as well. And so it's important for you to see what it is that your customer or client is seeing from their perspective, not just from yours. And when you're able to do that, it positions you so that you can serve them better. Then the other thing is you got to be able to get some customer feedback, actively seeking customer feedback through we talked about surveys, polls, and focus groups, direct conversations. Getting that information is going to be so important because it gives you the ability to have information that can inform your process. Right? You have the ability to, take that information and say, okay, this is working, but it could work better if we were able to offer X, or if we were able to, scale back some of the things that we've been offering and only, focus on this thing here. Sometimes you have to niche down. And the way that you learn that is through the feedback. So getting the information from your customers and clients themselves, or prospective customers and clients, or even customers and clients of other companies like yours. That is all very, very good information. And it gives you the ability to understand better what the customer or client needs. Then, use the customer personas. This is really, really good because, when you're able to constantly develop out a customer persona that represents your ideal customer. Remember, we talked about the fact that there's a difference between a target audience and a target customer. And so I need you to be thinking about, okay, who is the target audience? And of that audience, who really is my ideal customer? And once you can get down to that ideal customer and understand the motivation behind the purchase of your services, or even the inquiry, okay, that gets them to the purchase, it gives you a better view of what it is that they're wanting and what it is that they say that they need. Sometimes the customer doesn't know what they need. And this is something that's really, really important for you to understand, because when you get that part and when you understand that, because the customer always, is saying, I need this, I need this, I need this, doesn't necessarily mean that that's what they need. You have to be in a position where you can better evaluate the need based on the data, the information that you've collected, your direct observations. They're saying they need this, and you're viewing it, and you're saying, you know what, I think you may need this and this, or I think that you've got too much and we need to scale back. Those are the kinds of things that a real customer can appreciate, when you can give them the data that you have to show them, I've been watching you and I've been paying attention, and I really believe that this will suit you better than what it is that we've been providing before, or what it is that you've been using. I never forget, I went to the store to buy a pair of shoes, and some of you guys will this story will resonate with you. I walked in the store. I really, really, really thought I needed a pair of a certain color and a certain type of shoe, because that the kind of shoes that I had been wearing previously, and that was what it was that felt comfortable to me. And I thought it was going to match my outfits better. I could wear it with multiple things, and I went in to buy just a plain pair of black shoes. However, getting inside the store, the person who I normally have been dealing with, because I buy shoes from that, but I used to years ago buy shoes from that particular store frequently. I walked in, they, looked at what I was looking at, and they were like, you know what? I know you came in here to buy some black shoes, but have you ever thought about this color and maybe in a sling? Because what I notice is that you're buying this particular type of shoe and you have to buy these shoes more frequently. And I noticed that the way your foot is designed, this particular shoe might be more comfortable and you may not have to buy it as often. And here is why. And not only that, but this particular pewter color choice could go with these amount of outfits as opposed to just getting black, which could go with everything, but it doesn't offer the same level of, pizzazz per se with your outfits. And so I'm like, okay, let me check, let me look at it. And I just absolutely loved them. I bought the shoes and they went with so many different things. And not only that, but they were more comfortable. They did last long. And, because of the fact that I have a wider foot and there's some other things that were going on with my feet at the time, I didn't even realize, that trying to always wear a pump with a heel that was as high caused me to have more issues with my back. Having a lower heel that was in a sling was a better option, and the color choice was amazing. And so again, I didn't know what I needed. I knew I needed a pair of shoes, but I didn't know really what kind of shoe, and I didn't even really know the colors that were going to be more appropriate for what I was trying to do, because I could actually get a luxury look and a scaled back look, out of the same pair of shoes. So just saying, sometimes your customers don't know what they need, but your being attentive and getting the, feedback from them can help them to understand better their own needs. And then it can help you to even, be able to serve them, better, and even extend your customer lifetime value. Next slide, please. So, how do we have this effective communication strategy? What is it can that we can do, to really create a conversation that is a meaningful conversation between ourselves and our customers? Well, the first thing we have to do is we have to employ some active listening skills. In some of our previous sessions, we've talked about the importance of communication. I've even written a series of books called Power Stations that actually talks a lot about having these power filled conversations. And the first one, of course, that impacts, engage, and influences. Being able to be in a position where what you say has a direct impact on what it is that happens between you and the customer, or you and the client. You have to be able to pay attention to the customer's needs and concerns, but you have to demonstrate that you are. A lot of times people don't know that you're paying attention if you do not express that you're paying attention. Sometimes they can feel, that you're not really talking to them, or for that matter, that your company is not as, as I said, attentive. And so you have to demonstrate empathy through things that the company does. And even, personally, you might be able to demonstrate empathy and make your customers and clients feel bigger than what they might feel when they're having to be in the sea of all the other customers that you have. I never forget, I used to get this a lot from different customers. I know you're busy. I just need a meeting, a short meeting. I know you're real busy. And when I kept hearing that from different people, I had to start looking at, do I serve people in such a way that it makes them feel like when we're in a meeting that I'm already rushing to the next meeting? Do I serve people in such a way that they feel like, they're definitely not the only one and it's too many others, for them to, get the service that they need? And I really had to take a step back to look at how I was serving, because based on what my customers and clients are saying, that tells me that their what their viewpoint is they're and they're expressing it with their mouths, of course, which is that's what's real. That's their perception. That's what's real to them. It's real to them that I've got 380 people that I'm serving, and I'm serving them all by myself. That's what's real to them, even though it may not be the case. And so you have got to be able to send clear and concise messaging to your clients and customers, and effectively share with them, what it is that's happening at your company, using language that's easy for them to understand, helping them to understand that even if I can't touch you personally myself, I have a team, and the team and I can make sure that your need gets met, and it gets met in a way that is effective, and it's not going to be a situation where you're looked over, glossed over, or your project is sitting on my desk for 6 months, because of the fact that I've got too many people that I'm dealing with. You have to make sure that whoever it is that you are serving feels like they are important to you, and so it's important for you to understand that if you're the only person in the company that is front facing, then use technology, use some contractors, virtual assistants, whatever it is, to make sure that the customer does not lose and feel like there's something that could have been done differently to make sure that they received the service that they deserved. Okay. Oh, you have to have multiple communication channels, utilizing a variety of communication channels: email, phone, social media, and chat. And let me just tell you, we have our AI bots. I've got my agents, that's what I call them. My little agents sit on my website, and I have infused them with all types of information so that if somebody can't reach me personally, they can go to the website, click on the little AI person, my little agent, in the right hand corner, and ask her any question about any of the services that we provide. I had one client. I love her. She actually was in Texas. I was in California at the time, and she needed answers for, how she should do something with her nonprofit as far as business structure. She sat there and asked question after question after question, and my AI answered her questions according to the frequently asked questions information that we had, placed in the system. She got to another part where she started asking questions about, business structure and what she could do as a nonprofit as opposed to what is the best practice, and the AI told her what the best practice was. And this is all because of the fact that we took the time to create standard operating procedures and frequently asked questions, and put all of that into the database. And based on that, the AI is reading what's in the database and giving that information out, even down to how do I get in touch with Dr. Patience Rose? And when she asked the question, the AI gave her the phone number, and she dialed the number, and I picked up the phone, and she was like, "Oh my God, you answered." I'm like, "Yes." She says, "Oh, your AI told me how to get to you." And I got right to your desk. I'm like, yes, that's the point. That's the purpose of it. So I'm saying that having these communication channels are really important. When people have the feeling, even though they can't get to you, they can get to your likeness, they can get to, some form of communication that gives them, the understanding that you cared enough about your interaction with your customers that you went the extra step to make sure that they had what it was that their life required in that moment. And then having personalized communication is really, really important. Tailor your communication to individual customer preferences. I love the fact that we have instituted a couple things at one of our companies where we have a specific concierge. She is able to help people when they're having a difficult time scheduling an appointment with us. They can reach out to her, and she can find places on the calendar that may not show up, in our Calendly application, or if there's a special time that's needed because they're in another part of the world and they need an earlier time than what is available on our calendar, or a later time than what is available on our calendar, our concierge can help them get those things scheduled. And then we have now a customer relationship manager a person who that's not his title per se, but that's his function. His function is to make sure that the experience of our customers is none a second to none. I mean, it is an excellent experience. And so we, try to make sure that he's able to send out communications weekly, that when we have something new, that we get that information into our communities, that every person feels touched. If we have people that have been members of Red for years, but yet, for whatever reason, their needs may not be the same as others, but we need to make sure that they at least get some kind of communication from us annually. If they're needing something, to have some kind of review for their business, or if they want to redo a questionnaire to learn more about, what's happening with their company, to get some valuation analysis and, an estimated value of the company. We have those services that we offer, and a lot of those services are free or at a reduced cost. And so our customer relationship managers, it's his job to make sure that people know that they can have access to these things, that when they buy a membership with us in that particular company, that membership covers a specific amount of services that they can get for free, and then other services that they can get at a reduced cost. And he sends out the emails, and the emails are branded, but the emails also are personalized. And so these are really, really important things to do when you have a company. And I use our company as an example because we put ourselves through the paces and the tests before we come and tell you about what it is that you need to do. We make sure that the strategies are working, across the board, and in different types of companies. So I mentioned that we had several different companies, and we talked about having a service-based personal services or professional services company, but we also have a company that's an educational support services company. And so those are two very different kind of companies. And so the kinds of services that people need are specific to our target audience and ideal customer within the audience that we're serving. And so I'm sharing that because I want you to be able to stop and take a look at, who do you serve, and what is it that you need to do to be effective in your communication strategies with your audience. Next slide, please. So, one of the key things is that we have to be able to build trust and rapport. Having the ability to have honesty and transparency with your customer base is going to be key. You have to be able to be upfront and honest with them about the products and services that you have. If there's a limitation in your service, you have to know that it's important for you to share that, because when people expose the fact that there is a limitation, and they feel like they did not get that information from you, they feel blindsided, and that is not a good thing for a customer to feel. You want your customers and clients to feel that they have as much information as you have. Okay, even if that may not be completely true, give them as much information as necessary for them to utilize the service. When you go to purchase a car, they give you a manual. Some of those manuals have 200 or 300 pages in them, depending on the kind of vehicle that you are purchasing, because there are lots of things that people need to know about the car, that there are the plane or the boat or whatever it is that you're getting, the jet skis. There are things that you need to know. How do we replace the batteries? How do we, get service? What do we need to do to troubleshoot? All of those things are going to be in the manual. So when a person is buying a service from you, you may not have a complete manual like that, but you need to have a place that they can go to find the terms and conditions, the privacy policies, the refund policies, helping them to find out, how do they, get access to the service, and if they needed to extend the service, what can they do to do that? These are all really, really important things. And so that honesty and transparency, upfront information, is going to be key. Then the other thing is being reliable and consistent. I love to hear when people, come to us and they say, you know what, the one thing I can say to you, Miss Patience, is that you are consistent. That is a very good look on a company, that a person can trust your brand, trust that if they have something that they have you working on, that when you get finished with it, it's going to be done with excellence. And these are things that customers expecting no matter what. There are times when your company may be going through something, the country could be going through something, but they need to feel like you are doing the best you can do, that you can possibly do, to make sure you remain reliable and consistent. Deliver on your promise and provide consistent, high quality service, at your best, when you can. I mean, if there's something that's going on that prevents you from doing so, then you need to be able to be upfront about that as well, going back to our honesty and transparency, but share what you can do to mitigate that situation, because sometimes things don't always go as planned. But if there is a challenge, if there is a roadblock, being able to say, you know what, we are so sorry this happened. We'd like to offer you this particular thing here, as a concession for the fact that we were not able to meet our required timelines, or for that matter, can we extend something to you in another area that we provide service? We want to make sure that we're completely and totally able to meet your needs. These are all really, really good things to do, and when you can't, meet the need the way that you intended, being able to say, we are so sorry that we dropped the ball on this, and this is what we're going to do to make it right. That's really important to a client and a customer. Then having the empathy and understanding to, show that you have genuine concern, that people need to know that you care about them, and that what it is that matters to them matters to you. We were in the airport trying to make our way to Texas last night, and the one of the gentlemen who was working at the front counter, when we were getting ready to board the plane, he was having a really rough time because, of course, I'm sure everybody know there was there. Well, at the time when you're watching this, you're watching this during a time where there was a huge glitch at Microsoft, and they're calling this now a cyber event. Okay. And so we don't know what we don't know. We just know that there was an issue at the airports. A lot of flights were grounded, and days after now, we are still seeing the effects of that particular thing. And so as a result of that, people are having a challenge, and they are expressing their disdain with what's happening, in a manner that is very difficult for some of the flight attendants and some of the people who are working at the airport to receive. And so I'm sharing that my experience is that we had two different agents. One agent was as pleasant as he possibly could be, and we were so excited to, see him going through, his paces. And even though they're having problems, we couldn't tell that he was having a problem. He was doing his best to serve people regardless of what was going on, and bending over backwards, knowing that people were, challenged with all of the changes and the 3 or 4 different gate changes, and not having the information on the screen the way it needed to be, them moving us to a different terminal and all of these things. And so, of course, on his end, he did what he needed to do to make sure that people felt, valued, and felt like that the airline was doing as best that they could to make this right, even though it was not their issue per se. However, the other person, tried as he might, he was still having the biggest challenge serving, with excellence in the midst of all of this. It's like nobody wanted to ask him a question because we didn't want to give him one more thing to worry about, And so we want to make sure that our clients and customers don't feel that way. They need to feel like if there's something going on, that we're doing our best to fix it. And this is something that, we are intentional about, and we are pleasant, and we are confident, and we are everything we need to be. I mean, as they would say, we are on game, because of the fact that it's very, very important to make those things happen. Okay. And so as we're looking at this, it's extremely important for us to be able to situate ourselves, in the landscape of customer relations so that we are not having these tremendous challenges that our clients and customers can't get past and that we can't get past. Can we go back to the other slide, please? Okay, so as we're building relationships, there are ways that we can foster connections with our customers, and by customizing the services and to the degree that we can. Of course, some of our industries don't doesn't really allow us the ability to customize completely, but there are certain things that we can do, that gives that extra personal touch, to make sure that people feel that this is designed just for me, even though the for me's may be a lot. Next slide, please. All right. So, how do we handle customer complaints? This is huge. I have a few daughters that have been in customer service, and hearing the stories that they tell about, having to deal with customer complaints, especially in finance, because, two of them have been in customer services at institutions that have banks, or that are banks. And those financial services that they've dealt with have been very much a challenge to uh, the customer. Not necessarily that the bank was not doing a good job. It's just that there are times when things happen and people need to feel heard. And that is a real big thing. When a person has a complaint or a concern, you need to make sure that they feel heard. And so when we started off, we talked about having these active listening skills. You have to listen carefully to the person's complaint or their concern and acknowledge their feelings, because their feelings are real, even though they may have a different view of what is going on than what you have or than what may exist. The bottom line is that's what they're experiencing. And so they need to feel heard. And so having the ability to say the types of words is, I understand how you could feel in this situation. You know, no, you're not them. No, you probably have not been in the same exact situation that they're in, but understanding how they could feel is important. Giving yourself the ability to put yourself in their shoes for a moment. And even though they may have a different view of it than you think they should have, that is not the time for you to express that. That's not important information. What is important is that they know that you have empathy and that you understand how they could feel, and that you acknowledge the fact that they have some feelings, okay, that they're feeling some kind of way right now about whatever it is that they're dealing with. Then you have to acknowledge the issue. Expressions of empathy are huge when there is a tremendous challenge. I never forget, we were stuck in Hawaii. There was a problem with the plane. The plane got grounded. We were on the plane, and we had been on the plane for, I don't know, almost an hour and a half, had not taken off because they were trying to correct the issue, could not get the issue corrected, and they had to get us back to the gate. Once they got us back to the gate, they had to deplane. It was just a tremendous challenge for a lot of people. And so here we were, trying to figure out what was going to happen next. And the next step was is that we could not fly. We had to all get sent to a different hotel, wherever they could take us. And there was a problem in the system, and the vouchers that they gave us didn't actually get connected to the card. And so we ended up in a situation where we're at the hotel and they couldn't even place us in a room right away because they did not have the capability to do so. The technology wasn't working the way that it needed to that day. So, it was just one thing after another thing after another thing. But what I can say is this: the people who were working with us at Hawaiian Airlines, they were so kind and so patient. And for us, we ended up, with the best room at the hotel because of the issue that they were having. The hotel was kind. The manager that was on staff at the time, who was working with us, she put us in a place where we felt valued, we felt heard, we were able to, we felt understood. We were treated with the highest respect, and to the degree that they could offer us something, they did. They took action right away, and although it took more than an hour for them to correct the issue at the hotel, they made it worth our while, okay, for us to be stuck there. And so we were very excited to be able to share that story with others. And then we got home, and which the airline did not have to give us a full ticket. They could have just, restored the amount of funds that that ticket was worth. But no, they gave us a round trip to wherever, on their airlines as a result of what happened, to just let us know that we're sorry that this occurred, and to the degree that we can, we're going to try to make it right. And so these are things that people need to be aware of. When you have a company, people are, really wanting you to step up to the plate and do something, okay? Whatever you can do to help make this, to make it right. And then there needs to be some follow up. Months later, we were getting emails to just check, is everything okay? How, were you able to make sure that everything was resolved? I mean, did you speak with our customer care person? Were you able to check in with this person over here? Did you get the vouchers that we sent you? All of these things, because there was an insatiable need with that airlines to make sure that as a result of this issue, they went overboard to make it so that we as a customer felt, like we were their choice customer, and this was really important. What can you do in your company to make sure that when there is a complaint or a concern, people feel valued? They feel like you care about what has occurred. And even if you did not, if you weren't the cause of it and you did not have a hand in making it what it was, you're doing whatever you can to make it right. Next slide, please. Okay, so now we're going to talk about leveraging customer relationships for growth. What is it that you can do to leverage the customer relationship so that you can actually increase your growth potential? Well, let's kind of talk about referrals. This is really big. Our customers, love, love, love to refer people to us, and we love it. They have turned into a sales team, a bigger sales team than I can pay for, okay? And we want to make sure, of course, that we're doing whatever we can for our affiliates. And some people are not even concerned about receiving any remuneration for bringing us new customers. But we try to, weigh in when we can. But customer referrals are huge. When you are a kind of company that exists off of the customer referrals, instead of you, being out there pounding the pavement for a new client every day, you have a set of warm leads that are just being fed to you because people are satisfied with the service. That is big. Encouraging your existing customers to refer their friends and family is going to be something that, can, for some people, help them to build out their company. For us, in one of our companies, we have tripled and quadrupled our revenues because of customer referrals. And so having some kind of an incentive, incentivizing the referrals, or at least, communicating with people when they have referred, to let them know, hey, thank you so much for sending us, the referral that you sent us last week. It's turned into a beautiful relationship, and we're honored to serve this new family with our services. Now we are service first over here. I don't know what you guys are doing in your camp, but because we're service first, we, are big on referrals. We know that people don't have to send their friends and their family, and we want to make sure we take care of them and let people know that we appreciate them. Okay, loyalty programs. Loyalty programs are 100%. Okay, when I say this, I want you to hear me. They're 100% the reason why some people do business with some of the companies that they do. I remember when my children were young, and this is back when we were eating, every now and then we would go to McDonald's. We went to McDonald's for a couple of things. And one of the things that we went to McDonald's for was the Happy Meal. And it wasn't so much the food that the kids like, it's that they like the getting the little prizes in the bags. Okay. So whatever your loyalty program is, people like, exclusive discounts and benefits, surprise boxes, and all of those kinds of things. Those are really, really important things. Um, the community building is going to be important too. We have a community on our Red website. We're building out a community on our Precision um, tax advisors site, as well as our Precision Advisor group. We are really trying to give people the sense of community, because all of us are working on our things that we're working on together, and it's very, very important that we are able to understand the sense of community that we need to have, um, around being engaged in, working on our financial departments in our businesses on, and also in getting more education. That's really important. People learn better together. And so when they have the sense of community and they can talk about what they're learning or ask questions of people in the community, it does really help, to build out your business in a way that makes you valuable, more valuable to your customers and clients. This is a value add, not a value deterrent. Okay. So make sure that when you can build a community inside of your business for your customers and clients, and even for your staff, you do the things necessary to do so, because it does drive engagement and it helps people to choose you over other companies. And then customer advocacy. Nurturing customer advocates who will promote your business is really, really key. Having affiliates, having brand ambassadors, things of that nature. These are really important tools that you can use in your company to help your company get the visual that it needs to have, and to make sure that you are a chosen, or I should say, you are the preferred choice amongst your other people in your industry, and that's based on how you serve the people. Next slide, please. So we've talked about business intelligence. We're continuing to talk about business intelligence. How does business intelligence fit with customer relationship management? Well, utilizing customer data and analytics is key. You have to be able to track the customer behavior, because when you can track the behavior, then you can manage, the behavior. You can monitor their engagement levels. You can see their purchase patterns, and then you can manage that by making offers that really do help to boost the engagement between the customer and your company, that help to keep them purchasing what they're purchasing, and even upsell. And I'm just saying that when you have the data, you are able to utilize the data, for the right reasons, of course, to make sure that you can better meet the need of the people who you are there to serve. Identify the opportunities. When you're looking at the data, you can uncover the areas that you might need to improve in, and develop out new products. I mean, look and see what it is that makes sense for your company. Sometimes having things that don't work, you know, it's revealed early on when you're looking at the data. You can see something's not right with this. Okay, let me see why we keep getting callbacks on our people who are returning this particular item, and what is it that's going on with the item that they don't like. And then having personalized experiences, that comes from having data. When you are able to look to see what people like and what they want, then you can curate that particular thing within your offers, and make sure that it is one of the foremost things that is pushed. And being able to tailor your messages and your recommendations and suggestions to customers based on what they have been requesting is key. They again get the idea that I am important to this company, and they're spending the time necessary to be able to learn more about what it is that I need so they can serve me better. Nurturing customer advocates again, that can help you to see the things that you need to see about your customers. It's gonna, be really helpful too. So when you're looking at, the business intelligence, those customer advocates, those affiliates, those brand ambassadors, getting some of the information from them could be really be helpful because it helps you to understand what people are asking for and what kinds of questions they're getting, and as they are, representing your company in every area that they're representing. Then optimizing the customer service again, it improves the efficiency and the effectiveness of the support operations. Okay, next slide, please. So, conclusion today, really, for mastering customer relations for business success. I mean, I really want you to go back and look at what the key things were that we talked about. There were some specific things that made a lot of sense, and so I just want to kind of run over them, because I know they're important. But when you are able to prioritize the customer needs, really get to know your customer, use those empathy maps that we talked about a few weeks ago, understanding the pain points and being able to, get that feedback that's necessary so that you can better support and, supply what it is that people are needing is going to be key. Fostering trust, making sure that your customers and clients are able to have enough information about you to trust you, and they're able to understand that you're listening to them, that they are feeling heard, that they feel valued. Those are really, really, really important things. That you have clear and concise messaging, and that you are providing for them multiple communication channels, ways that they can reach you, even if they don't reach you directly. They can reach your likeness, your AI person, or your virtual assistant, or that you're getting back to them in a timely fashion. That's going to be really important. And making sure that you personalize their communication and build that trust and rapport that they need, because they need to be able to feel like you're honest, that you're transparent, that you're reliable and consistent, that you have understanding of their, requirements, and that you're really desirous of building relationship with them, and extending their customer lifetime value. And then by leveraging the data, you can build a loyal customer base because you have something to work with that is real. You have something that you can count on. You can track their behaviors, identify opportunities, and personalize their experiences, and then optimize the customer service to make sure that their needs get met. And all of these things help you to drive sustainable growth. Well, this has been Dr. Patience Jackson Rose with Co-working Live with Red Worldwide. We're so glad that you stayed with us for this entire time, and we look forward to seeing you again next time.